The NFL Draft naturally has a big effect on the sports trading card market, specifically in relation to those participating in whatnot breaks. Teams which used to be highly sought after no longer have as many valuable players. I have compiled a list of those teams and we'll review which 2023 rookies are going to devalue teams in breaks for years 2022 and 2021. That way you'll know as you're doing your whatnot breaks for those 2022 and 2021 teams, which ones you still probably want to go after and which ones you probably don't. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have the Carolina Panthers. I know that when I was watching these breaks, Matt Corral had so many cards. They'd have numbered, low numbered, autographed, patches, RPA on card, all that good stuff. And now, with them drafting Bryce Young, anything Matt Corral is pretty much useless. And also, the Panthers drafting Jonathan Mingo could hurt Terrace Marshall. He was still not really that highly sought after, but it made it a little bit less painful if you got if you could get a spot for the right price and you ended up getting a decent Marshall card. You might be able to get some of your money back on that. And next up, we have the Green Bay Packers, who, first off, lost Aaron Rodgers. So pretty much the entire team is going to take a hit here, honestly. I don't know that Jordan Love is going to be putting up the same numbers. Alright, but here we go. So, both Watson and Romeo Doubs are going to be hurt by Jaden Reed. But not only that, they also drafted Grant Dubose and Dontavian Wicks. Now, those last two guys probably aren't going to do too much damage, especially to Watson. And then I just saw an article recently that said that Dobbs is going to have a great target share. But you're going to have Jordan Love throwing and competition against Jaden Reed, who has a lot high draft capital. I forget exactly which round he was drafted in, but he has good draft capital, I'm pretty sure. And they're really high on him. And moving on from there, we have the Texans, where you used to be able to bank on getting Davis Mills, Nico Collins. Honestly, even John Mechie, he, I believe, got cancer, but I think he's coming back, and he's coming back strong. So, which, that's great to hear. But they drafted C.J. Stroud, which means Davis Mills is now worthless. And also they drafted Tank Dell, who could hurt Nico Collins and John Mechie. And then at the end, to me, this just shows that they don't really have confidence in Nico Collins or John Mechie. And that is the drafting of Xavier Hutchinson. After that, we have the Tennessee Titans. And naturally, Will Levis kills any Malik Willis spec. Unfortunately, Malik Willis, I think, came in with one of the worst wide receiving cores out there. And he also I don't believe they had as much tight end help as the tight ends have had in previous years. And I don't think Derrick Henry did as well as he did even the previous year before that in 2021. So, unfortunately, I think Malik Willis could still do well, but drafting Will Levis, that kills all Malik Willis spec and all those cards. I used to actually really love getting the Tennessee Titans because I loved getting Malik Willis and Treylon Burks. Those two actually had a lot of really good cards coming out. And then also you had a lot of Tennessee Titans fans that loved picking up some A.J. Browns if it was like any other year, or Derrick Henry. You could sell those because you'd have those fans that would want those. But Colton Dowell, I don't think he'd really do anything to get in the way of Treylon Burks, but he could hurt Kyle Phillips. And Josh Weil, again, Chig Okonkwo wasn't really that big in the card market anyway, and I think he's solid. But Josh Weil just could come in and play, make a difference. But I honestly don't think he will, especially over Chig. I think the Chigoziem Okonkwo is just really good. And that's not me being biased because I have him on my Dynasty team. Alright, so that's number 4. Number 5, we have the Seattle Seahawks. And I think this one's pretty obvious here. The only reason to get the Seattle Seahawks was to get K-19, Kenneth Walker III, and they got Zach Charbonnet. So, unfortunately, that also kind of hurts Zach Charbonnet because Kenneth Walker's not going anywhere. And then they also got Kenny McIntosh. So, they're going to have a 3-headed dragon going into to these games, and you don't know. They're probably going to ride the hot hand, and you don't know just who's going to get hot. And then moving on to the San Diego Chargers, they weren't even that great in the first place unless you really wanted to bank on getting some awesome Justin Herbert card. But naturally they drafted Quentin Johnson and Darius Davis, and both of those are going to hurt Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer did not separate himself or make himself cemented in any type of role for the Chargers, so he also hurt himself. And then this one hurts me to say, number 7, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to give like a 2-second pause here. Now let's just all, who knows what's going on, and I feel really bad for Tyler Algier, but Bijan Robinson getting drafted is going to hurt the value of Tyler Algier. Now, you still have, I don't believe they drafted a quarterback, so Desmond Ridder is still good. And also you have Drake London in there. So you got some pretty good, and I know that they actually have some defensive players that get some love in the card market as well. So Falcons aren't as bad. They're a little bit lower on the list because of that. And then the Ravens, just if any of you kind of just liked getting the Ravens because you were banking on Rashad Bateman, who's really the only decent rookie lately, Zay Flowers is going to come in and take that value. Honestly, Rashad Bateman could do well, but he hasn't really, I don't believe, shown enough to where he could take it to that next level. Zay Flowers could come in and be the number 1 option behind Mark Andrews immediately. And again, this is just the draft. This isn't who people have gotten off of free agency. So if there are other wide receivers that maybe the Ravens got other wide receivers in free agency, that would hurt Rashad Bateman even more. This is just strictly how the draft affects the market. Alright, so moving on. Vikings, this is lower on the list because Jordan Addison could eat into the share of Justin Jefferson. I don't think he's not going to overtake Justin Jefferson and be the number 1 or make Justin Jefferson cards useless. But it could be enough to where they could just, be a 2-headed monster. So, again, it just is possible, so that's why I just put it on here. And then I put Chiefs and Giants in the same one because the Giants never really had anyone special except in 2021 they had Kadarius Toney, but then he went to the Chiefs in 2022, and in 2022 the Chiefs had Sky Moore, and the Chiefs got Rashee Rice. So the Giants didn't draft anybody that is going to affect any quote rookies over in New York. So there was nothing really to write about the Giants. So I just included the Giants in here because if you're in a break with 2021 boxes or cards or whatever, like Prism 2021, then you got the Giants, okay, you're looking for Kadarius Toney cards. But now you're not. And that's because Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, even though he's not on the Giants anymore, his performance on the Chiefs is what's going to make his rookie cards from the Giants valuable. And because Rashee Rice is going to come in, and he's going to hurt Sky Moore, he's going to hurt Kadarius Toney's value. So both of those rookie cards aren't going to do that great. I would sell your Sky Moores now because he did. I think he scored even a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but he did well in the playoffs, and they're both Super Bowl winners, so Chiefs fans might want to pick those cards up. And Rashee Rice is going to come in, and those guys are going to take a back seat, and then their cards are going to flop. That's just my opinion. All right, so next up we have the Broncos with Marvin Mims Jr., who could hurt Jerry Jeudy. So if you're in, I think, a 2021 and you were banking on... Now, a lot of people are saying Marvin Mims Jr. doesn't have the skill set that a Jerry Jeudy has. But Jerry Jeudy could be moved out shortly, which could pave a way for Marvin Mims Jr. to be great, which could cause long-term value of Jerry Jeudy cards to go down. He could go somewhere with a bad quarterback. He could go somewhere with a bad offense overall. He could go somewhere where he has to compete against a really high-quality wide receiver one. So I'm all out on Jerry Jeudy and the Broncos. I've been out on the Broncos, but honestly, I've been listening to some stuff that I think they made some good points about how Russell Wilson was in a bad situation, and the situation kind of dictated the outcomes, and that when when his team, I think, was healthy or something like that, he played really well. But unfortunately, there were issues throughout the whole season, most of the season, so all you really saw was the bad. But again, that's just what I hear from people. I didn't watch the Broncos all that much. Alright, next up we have the Colts. And if you got the Colts in any 2022, you're looking to get Alec Pierce, right? Well, Josh Downs just got drafted, and Josh Downs could be taking away from Alec Pierce. I believe Josh Downs is a downfield threat, but I heard he maybe doesn't have the speed to completely break away, or the route running capability, or the ability to break away. I forget which one of those it was. But Alec Pierce is more of a slot guy, I'm pretty sure. So that's just again, this isn't like a fantasy football thing, so I don't know all these little things about these guys. I just know that Josh Downs could come in, take some timeshare away from Alec Pierce, and make Alec Pierce not stand out as much, which would make his cards not increase in value. Alright, next up we have the Cardinals. And Rondale Moore honestly was on my list of players that I was going to stock up on after the draft if they didn't get a wide receiver, and stock up even more if getting closer to the season they didn't sign anybody. I think Rondale Moore is a highly underrated talent. Michael Wilson, though, he is a prototypical size wide receiver. He's not an Andy Isabella. He's not who's the other one they had? I forget. He's not a Hollywood Brown. He's a solid size NFL wide receiver, and he could come in and he's going to hurt the value of any Rondale Moore cards, the little value they might currently have. Moving on, we have the Bears, and then after that we only have 5 teams left, and that is Roschon Johnson could come in, be the number 1 running back, and that will kill any value of Khalil Herbert and Treston Ebner. I believe Khalil Herbert was a 2021, and Treston Ebner is 2022. And then Tyler Scott could come in and hurt Darnell Mooney, who is a 2021. So if you were in a 2021 break and you were banking on getting the Bears to get either Darnell Mooney or Khalil Herbert, especially with David Montgomery leaving, and you're like, oh, Khalil Herbert's going to come in and be the number 1, and all his cards are going to go up in value, pump the brakes possibly. Roschon Johnson could come in and take some of his value. Alright, after that, we have the Jets. And I don't know how to pronounce this, so forgive me. And I don't know why they got this guy, but Israel Abanikanda could hurt Breece Hall. Now, I guess they got him because the backfield's currently a mess. Unfortunately, I traded the farm for James Robinson 2 years ago to win. and I was going to win the playoffs, and then he and Robert Woods got hurt. They were killing it, putting up. Robert Woods was averaging in the teens, putting up almost 30 points some weeks, and this is 2 years ago. James Robinson was putting up 20, 30 points a week. I was easily going to win, and then they both got hurt. So I'm a little bitter about James Robinson and the Jets, but I do hope Breece Hall comes back. They're actually one of my dark horse. I guess they're not dark horse team anymore with Aaron Rodgers. You got Aaron Rodgers throwing to Garrett Wilson, and you got Breece Hall coming off his injury. Pretty sure he got hurt pretty early, so he still could come back really strong. But you never know what these rookies are going to come in and what they're capable of once they hit the NFL level. They could flop, or they could just rise to the challenge. And Breece Hall showed that he could rise to the challenge, but unfortunately he got hurt. So they may, lean on Israel a little bit more simply because they want Breece Hall in the long run. They might give him half as many carries as they were planning on doing it because they were able to get this quality running back here. And that will decrease Breece Hall's, I can't think of the word right now, his famousness. I can't believe I can't think of that. And that could hurt it. And a lot of people could say, well, Breece Hall's not the Jet to have, so then, and that will just hurt his cards on the secondary market. And then after that, we have the Commanders with Chris Rodriguez Jr. could come in, and I heard he could compete for Brian Robinson. I heard they're both pretty big guys, so they're not really going to be complementary to each other. And Brian Robinson, I think he's the one that got shot. Came back, actually did really well. But who knows what Chris Rodriguez could come in and possibly overtake Brian Robinson. And after that, we have the Saints, the third to last team. A.T. Perry could come in and hurt Chris Olave. I am honestly not familiar with this player, but it's a wide receiver they drafted, and there's a chance he comes in and he takes that timeshare away from Olave. Second to last we have is the Lions, and who they got, Antoine Green, and that could hurt Amon-Ra. However, they drafted an awesome new quarterback in Hendon Hooker. So that could actually increase Amon-Ra. So that's why it's so far down, because it could actually have the opposite value. Antoine Green could just be another person that the defense has to look after so that Amon-Ra gets open and Hendon Hooker can hit him a lot, and Amon-Ra's value goes up even more. So that's the one that's at the very bottom, because he could actually even go up based on who else he got. I guess the same thing could happen with Chris Olave, as Perry could come in, and especially since they got Derek Carr, and then that could open things up for Olave as well, especially since Derek Carr is above and beyond what Olave had last year at quarterback. So the last one is the Cowboys. And it's the very last one because no one cares about Simi Fehoko anyways. And honestly, if you're getting, I think, a 2021 Cowboys, I don't think they had any 2022 rookie wide receivers worth looking at or running backs or anything. Jalen Brooks could come in and hurt Simi Fehoko. Oh, but anyway, to finish that thought, if you're getting into 2021, you're probably looking to get Micah Parsons anyways, a rookie card. But I went into talking about wide receivers, and that kind of brought my mind back to Jalen Brooks, and he could come in and take timeshare from Simi Fehoko. So any Simi Fehoko value would drop, but it's already, I think, low. And you're not going to get much for anything from Fehoko anyway. But it could stop him from taking that next step in his sophomore year. And then that would cause, like, if you're thinking, oh, he's going to do well in the second year, and especially since they got Dalton Kincaid, and that's someone the defense has to look after, and Simi Fehoko can come in and get some passes and whatever. I just don't think it's going to happen. But if you were thinking that Jalen Brooks could come in and hurt that. Alright, everybody, that is my list of teams that were once highly sought after in whatnot breaks, that where you do a bid and you get to spin the wheel and you get a team or things like that, or you could do a pick your team where you bid more and more to pick a team, or high bid gets whatever team. Obviously, you still want the Steelers and stuff like that. So, with Kenny Pickett and George Pickens, they didn't draft anything to hurt them. But anyways, I wanted to shed some light on teams that I am no longer going to be excited about. My biggest ones are probably, the biggest losers are probably the Panthers, the Packers, the Titans, and the Falcons. I guess the Falcons aren't that bad because they still have Drake London and Desmond Ridder that you could get. And the Jets. Commanders, you could still get Sam Howell and that wide receiver who I have, Jahan Dotson. I have him in a dynasty league. So anyway, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click that thumbs up button to subscribe to the channel. Please click that thumbs up button, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about my list. And also, if I mentioned anything in there about what I would do or what I think should be done with anybody's cards or anything like that, that's simply my opinion. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, what to do with your cards, or anything like that. After all, I am a non-expert by my name. It's up to you to do your own research and decide what's best for you. I just wanted to provide some information and insight basically into who got drafted and who could that possibly hurt, simply based on competition and what trends we saw in the secondary market for those cards after you tried to sell them from your whatnot shows that you were participating in. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know how many people are going to see it because my channel is mostly comic books, not cards, and my card stuff usually doesn't do very well, but I'm still going to put this up anyway, and I hope those who saw it find it useful and it helps you make some better decisions, or some decisions that you're happy with in the whatnot shows that you participate in the future. Alright, enough rambling. I'll let you guys go. Thanks again for stopping by and checking out this video, and until the next one, bye.